expressed in this show belong to the person expressing them. They do not purport to reflect the opinions or views of Rancher or any other entity.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to today's episode of Coffee and Cloud Native. My name is Adrian Goins. I'm excited to be here with you today on the internet, where Google might not actually be working. So yeah, the purpose of the show is to share with you news and interesting content related to Kubernetes and Cloud Native, and to build a community of people who are interested in using non-Google technology to live a better life. If you're watching live, consider following or subscribing to the channel. And if you're watching a replay, well, that means Google is back. So give the video a thumbs up so the YouTube algorithm doesn't have to go find another job. Join the free community site and the Discord server. Links to that are in the video description and scrolling across the bottom of the screen. Live chat happens in Discord with a bot that relays between Twitch and... what was that other service? The one that used to work? YouTube. So come hang out with us either during the show or after. And as you'll see in a moment, the chat is where the real action happens. So let's see who we've got today. Everybody's like, what? Google's down? Yeah, so good morning, Peter Keach, old man with a hat, Crazy Russian, Samuel Dan, Ian, Nuno, Duck, I'm like scrolling, Wojtek, Cześć, Frank, Mladen, who else do we got here today? Bala, thank you for telling us that Google was back, Bala. It looks like it's kind of like half back, so some of you might be watching on Google. I'm not sure, but stuff is still busted. Yes, so, hello, still scrolling, and okay, so yeah, let's get on with, hey, Rob, you just showed up, nice. Mike O'Grady, good morning from Atlanta. Good morning, thank you for watching on Twitch. So, quickly, some news. Google's probably down, globally. That's okay. Next, how are you all doing with the weekly challenge? Oh, there's no browser in that window. What happened to my browser? Is it a Google browser? Well, that's really weird. It like totally, okay, hang on a second. Okay, I'm gonna switch to a different window, and now will you let me switch back? Ah, there you go. How about now? Yay! Wait, no. How about that instead? How's the Network Policy Challenge going for you? This is Policy Month. Last week's challenge, starting on Wednesday, was Network Policy. I posted a question, let everybody know if you did anything. I mean, I know some of you already have these things in place, in which case you are the mentors, and you can come and tell us like tips and tricks and things that you figured out. For example, what's a great way to test network policies and find out if they're working besides just putting them in place and then waiting for somebody to be like, hey, the site's down. Do you think maybe some Google SRE was like, oh, we totally need a network policy over here? I got them deployed this weekend. I'm using Cilium. So I've got, I have several namespaces, but I like to test on my namespace because it runs the most production stuff and also it's mine. So I got network policies running in there. Only broke a couple of things, but nobody uses them on the weekend anyway. And yeah, so anyway, come tell us how it went. Share. This is also the last week of shows for the year. So come hang out with us through the end of the week, and then I'm gonna go away for 2 weeks and work on Trufflebot and some other stuff. Let's see if Trufflebot's working yet. There's something in the Discord API that is apparently bound to Google, and it's preventing Trufflebot from loading. Anyway, I'm gonna go away, work on that, work on the machine learning stuff, work on some other stuff, play some video games, and so then we'll be back after the new year. And with that, let's figure out what button I'm supposed to press. It is time for the A/B test. The collector bots have gathered candidates for the show, and Trufflebot has scored them from 1 to 5 coffees, corresponding to a 75 to 100% probability of being interesting content. He normally would post them in the chat, but today he's not going to be able to do that. So I will post them in the chat. And, well, normally you'd be able to vote, and you can still vote. Just remember there's the emoji for 1 through 5. Just add it yourself, or if somebody else adds one, just click it. Trufflebot's not here to keep you honest, so you could totally vote for number 4 and number 5 if you so desired, but please don't. And what I will do is after the show, when I do the post-show processing, I will come through and grab the votes and add them manually. And somebody just messaged me something. I want to make sure that this isn't like a something's broken thing. Oh, no, that was just somebody off of LinkedIn. Anyway, so yeah, so they'll be posting and they'll be voting and there'll be stuff, and let's just get on with it. I have some cool stuff today. I told WifeBot this morning, I was like, oh, you know, I've got some cool stuff for the show today. And then I realized that most days I actually have cool stuff for the show. But there's some days that the stuff I have for the show is particularly exciting for me. And this is one of those days. So first up, I don't know why I'm staring at the button and I'm like, is that the button I'm supposed to press? Is that the button I'm supposed to press? In line with Policy Month, let me paste this link over here for you on the live chat channel. I'm going to paste them. You know what? I'm going to paste it. Where am I going to paste it? I'm going to paste it in the A/B test channel, which is actually where things would normally go. Okay. So yeah, I'll paste it in the A/B test channel. You can go and vote. In line with Policy Month, pod security policies are probably going to go away for a number of reasons. They are the reason that Kubernetes changed the policy about stuff staying in beta forever. Now, when something goes to beta, it cannot stay in beta for more than 2 Kubernetes version releases. Otherwise, it has to go to stable, or it has to be marked for deprecation and get out of the platform. That's because pod security policies have been beta. I don't know how long they've been beta, but they've been in Kubernetes since 1.3, and they're still beta. And they have a host of problems. It says here, the community has struggled to maintain a consistent scope for the API as it has developed, and it doesn't work well with service mesh sidecars, CI/CD validation tools, and it's also really difficult to test policies. So there was a meeting on November 11th that proposed that PSPs be deprecated and removed. They had a follow-up meeting on the 9th, so 5 days ago, and they said, okay, let's come up with something else. They can't really move the API because Kubernetes APIs from version to version stay backwards compatible, and they can't really fix it while also maintaining backwards compatibility to a thing that doesn't really work. So probably you're going to see it go away and they want to come up with something else. Of course, you could just start using policy solutions like OPA Gatekeeper or Kyverno and just, get on with your life. But the truth of the matter about PSPs is that they're deployed in a lot of places and companies are a little bit freaking out. You're going to see one of two things. Either, people are voting. I'm seeing that the voting is working. So you're going to either see that it will stay for 2 versions and then be automatically deprecated, or there's a proposal to just deprecate it in 1.21, which will send a signal that says, if you haven't started using this yet, don't, because it's going to go away. And they're going to come up with something new. I will tell you, if you haven't started using it yet, don't. Use something better. All right. Really? Somebody voted that a 1? Who would vote that a 1? If you go to TechTarget, by the way, this is kind of funny. If you go to this article, you probably notice that they want you to register. They don't do any validation of the registration. I registered as like Fruity McNugget Pants or something like that from Big Corporation on 1234 Main Street with like a fake email address. Just fill in a bunch of garbage info and they'll let you read the article. Good job, TechTarget. Next up, who votes that a 1? Somebody who's using PSPs probably. Next up is this article from, well, it's not even an article. It's the Kubernetes documentation talking about securing your cluster. This is good. There's lots of stuff in here that's good. There's lots of stuff in here that's obvious. Control access to the kubelet. But they do list limiting resource usage on a cluster as part of securing your cluster. Policy month. Set your limits on CPU and set your requests and your limits on CPU and memory, and you won't have runaway pods consuming stuff. Somebody asked in the chat this morning, how do you come up with a good number for what to use for requests and limits? Somebody proposed Goldilocks, which we've had on the show before. I actually stopped using Goldilocks because I found it to just not be fully baked. And it was creating more problems for me in my cluster than it was creating solutions. This weekend, I went and rolled out monitoring with Prometheus and Grafana and that whole stack of stuff, which I had to do differently because for some reason, the DigitalOcean Kubernetes service doesn't play well with Rancher's monitoring in Rancher 2.4. I don't know whose problem that is, but I just ripped the whole thing out and went with the stock Kube Prometheus stack with an external Grafana, and then watched for a little while, and because I already had workloads running, so I figured whatever they were at was probably a good number, and set my requests and limits according to that. So that was the other part of what I did this weekend, was rolled all that out so that now I don't have any policy violations in that namespace. And that's good. And I'll take that and I'll apply it to the other namespaces where I'm running other things for WifeBot and friends and stuff. There's other stuff in here that I thought was interesting to call out, like preventing containers from loading kernel modules by actually disabling unneeded and things that you'll never use on the hosts themselves. Restricting network access, network policies again. It was so satisfying to kick off a network policy and then go and test it, and it's just like locked down. Like my static sites, they're not allowed to talk to anything anymore. My other sites are allowed to talk to the database. Everything's allowed to get ingress from the glue Envoy proxy. It's just, I posted that GitOps was addictive when I started pulling stuff out a couple of weeks ago. This was also addictive. It's like, once you see it working, I want it everywhere. Other stuff, controlling which nodes pods can access with taints and tolerations, and various other things, including encrypting secrets at rest, which most Kubernetes distributions do not do out of the box. So you might think that your secrets are encrypted, you make an etcd backup, you put it somewhere, somebody compromises the backup server, and poof, they've got all your secrets because they're base 64 encoded. Encrypting secrets at rest is an extra step that you have to do. It's not difficult to do, and it will provide you an extra level of protection. I was going to type AB next. There is no AB next. Is Trufflebot back yet? Whatever. Trufflebot's not coming back. Next up, we have something from the hardware universe. Moddable.com. So they have an SDK. So I like the idea of hardware. And you know, I talk about IoT, and people think IoT is like cameras and Nest devices and crap like that. But no, IoT is actually just anything with a sensor that does something for you that allows you to do more intelligent decision-making or whatever. You'll hear a term more and more often about intelligent farming. And that's farming based on decisions, like, you know, water distribution according to soil samples. Back when I had an aquaponics garden, which I created in when we lived in Santiago, I wanted to build a little XB remote water sensing thing so I could determine soil water. So I could determine the water levels in the aquaponics things and make sure that you know, they were filling as they were supposed to, and that the siphons weren't stuck, which happened periodically. It's a perfect use for IoT. And Moddable has an SDK where you can do 100% of your programming in JavaScript, and then they have a really sexy suite of controllers and development boards designed for, I mean, these are all like low power, not just low power consumption, but literally low power. Like this has a 80 megahertz processor on it. So you're not going to be running machine learning models and things on this, but they come with really great displays. They're super cheap. And since their SDK is JavaScript, which is extremely accessible, this is a great way to get started building whatever you want. Whatever you want. Like, you got a thing, you want to know more information, build a tool that does it. So we got them out there. Oh my gosh, we got other crazy emojis besides. All right, somebody voted that a 4. Thank you. That allows me to click on that as well. So next, E2Busy writes really funny blogs. He definitely, he, she, whomever, doesn't take himself seriously, which is really great. It makes for really good reading. He had a blog about how to enable TLS for nginx ingress, which of course, I mean, you want that. You want everything secured with TLS. But this follows that with how to enable mTLS, which are client certificates for validating who's actually able to communicate with the ingress controller. There are lots of places where you might use this. How you use it is up to you. I was thinking that perhaps it might be a good way to add an additional layer of validation on an endpoint. For example, perhaps you only want people with client certificates to be able to access the admin URL of a particular service, like a WordPress site. So you don't have people just banging on it all day long. That'd be a great use case for mTLS. So here's how you can deploy client certificates with the nginx ingress controller. Super easy. And in fact, there's something else that he had in here with one of his jokes. Yeah. So if you want to experiment a bit, you can use EKECA to generate everything you need. I was like, what's that? Takes you to a blog post that's pretty sparse, but that takes you to a README on his repo, which is basically just a really lightweight, full certificate authority that you can run yourself. There's other ones that do this. There's like EasyCA and some others, but this is really designed to just be like ridiculously easy to use. So he throws that in there as well. I considered making that a tool of the day, but there you go. It's a gift since the YouTubes are down. Ooh. This was one of those, what? NVIDIA makes developer boards, but of course they do. It makes sense. We got to detangle this before you can get to this sexy piece of glow-in-the-dark nonsense. So we talk about cluster boards. So for example, on the Raspberry Pi SBC, there's like the compute boards and stuff, or compute modules. But nobody had clusters of Jetson modules. So a Jetson module is from NVIDIA, and it's not this. This is actually the development board. This, you can't see my finger, but but then that thing with the big heat sink on it, that's an SODIMM form factor compute module from NVIDIA. Heatsink, that thing's a beast. So this one has a quad-core ARM processor at 1.43 gigahertz and 4 gigabytes of RAM. Okay. The next one, though, this beast, 6 cores, 6 ARM cores, 384 core NVIDIA GPU, and 8 gigabytes of RAM with a 16 gig eMMC flash and a bunch of other stuff, all in an SODIMM form factor. So now you bring that back to here, and what this is a box that allows you to stick 4 of those bad boys in a chassis, which is why you need that big stupid fan. It's basically designed for building a Kubernetes cluster. You have one node that's considered the master, which is actually like a control node for the other 3 boards. And so you flash them in the master slot, and then you can move them to worker slots. And then once they're all built, they run a customized version of Ubuntu. Once they're all built, you can install Kubernetes on them. And now you would have, in a single chassis, 24 cores and 32 gigabytes of RAM on 4 separate CPUs. For the low price of those compute modules are about $450 each. So you're looking at $1,800 there. And then I don't know what the body of this is. So it's a little bit more expensive than, what am I running? My Protectly boxes are quad core with 32 gigs of RAM. But it kicks it up to 24 cores. Yeah, that's home lab. One drop, if you're watching, drop that over in your guys' server. I think it's pretty hot. Oh, we got 950. All right. There's a Helm chart for Loki now. Loki is like Prometheus, but for logs. It's from Grafana. And I guess there hasn't been a Helm chart. And as of 4 days ago, now there is. Yay! Oh, I didn't paste the link. Sorry. Oh my gosh, I haven't been pasting links. Oh, I'm terrible. Sorry. Okay. I voted on the previous thing twice. Okay. There's that link. My bad. And here's the next link. All right, y'all can vote on that if you want. Yeah, so Helm chart for Loki. Hooray! Next is interesting. Who is calling out my name? What's going on over here? Yeah, I'm a terrible truffle bot. Sorry. So next, I'll paste the link. There. I have one job. My job is to paste the link. Next up, apparently there's a gnarly Windows malware attack going on against browsers. This is significant enough that I thought I would bring it to your attention because the most alarming part about it is, I didn't highlight it, they don't have any idea how it's happening. They have no idea. They don't know what the infection vector is, but it currently has... so it does, right now, all it's doing is add injection into search results for affiliate-related stuff, which is a common malware scam thingy. But right now, from what they've been able to decode, it has 159 unique domains. Each one hosts an average of 17,300 unique URLs. Those URLs, in turn, host an average of 15,300 unique malware samples. This thing is totally polymorphed, so any signature-based antivirus is unable to detect it. They're only able to detect it with limited effectiveness with behavioral-based antivirus solutions, like, of course, Microsoft 365 Defender, rah! Whoever names Microsoft's products... Yeah, anyway. So if you, now this only affects Windows at the moment, but it's going against Chrome, Firefox, Edge, and Yandex browser. Who the heck uses the Yandex browser? So if you have, like, I'm sure that all of you are fine. All of you know what to do and what not to do. But if you have family members or friends who are not technically savvy, let them know that this is happening. This article gives more information about like further investigatory stuff so that after their system gets owned and they come and ask you for help, you know what to go look for. In addition to the search ad injection on Firefox, it also is exfiltrating web credentials. Yuck. Nasty, nasty, nasty. Keep an eye out for that. MicroKates 1.20 was released. Huzzah! I will paste the link. I have pasted the link. All right, MicroKates 1.20. This is great because like Kubernetes 1.20 just came out last week. So kubeflow has been updated. Of course, MicroKates, if you have 3 nodes, it'll automatically enable DQ Lite. You get some HA goodness. The add-ons now include Kata, Portainer, Traffic 2.3, Prometheus is available for ARM64. That's dope. Linkerd, Ingress was updated to 0.35.0. I don't know what Ingress they're using there. Cilium to 1.8.3. I thought Cilium was on 1.9. But whatever. So, yeah, there you go, MicroKates. Okay, I think we can do one more. Now that I know them all, oh, let's do this one. Drag that back over there. This is actually kind of super significant. Do you remember when I had Pixie on? Hang on, I'll paste the link. I will paste the link. I am pasting the link. I have pasted the link. Remember when we had Pixie on? Pixie was on in, oh gosh, like October? Like not that long ago, 2 months. They just came out of stealth. They got a $10 million Series A, which at the time I was like, that's a lot of money. I don't know what I was talking about. I think I was thinking seed round. Whatever, ignore me. I don't know what I'm talking about. But the platform itself looked really cool. They had a community version. They were working on an enterprise version, which was free at the time while they were working it out. Dude, New Relic came along and was like, gobble. Now, in addition to gobbling them up, New Relic is going to open source, I guess, the community version? I'm not really sure. But they are going to open source it. And it looks like it's going to be open core. I don't know, there's an announcement somewhere, whatever. It's going to be open core, so there will still be enterprise versions. But this is supposed to be just an amazing, remember, it's observability. So it's not just monitoring, but it's distributed tracing, but it's done with no changes to your code base and with machine learning magic. So I was excited when I saw it. I'm super excited. It looks like New Relic's going to do the right thing. You know, I hope they enjoy their lunch. Gobble. The fact that like they came out of stealth and they got bought within 2 months is a really big validation of what they're doing. So this is worth taking a look at. Hey, all, you liked it. Okay, well, that's it for the content. So now let's go to the tool of the day. Today's tool of the day is a tool called Cockpit. I posted that in the A/B test, whatever. I generally don't like web management utilities for system administration because I think like Plesk and cPanel and like VPSs and stuff. I think they're gross. I'm sorry, Plesk and cPanel, if you're watching, but you know. This I thought was much more interesting, and it's apparently been around for a while. I've never encountered it before, which always baffles me. So the bots picked it up, and basically it's just a whole platform. Let me just go, and I installed it on one of the machines today, and let me just fire it up and log in. Yeah, okay, there we go. You can run this on one system. It will do all sorts of really smart stuff related to proxying SSH and using that to manage and communicate with other systems. It gives you instant visibility into what's going on the systems. Point of complaint, I really don't like when systems show you that your memory is maxed out. This is actually more than 50% cache. I much prefer when systems recognize that cache is basically free memory. But anyway, so I'm using 100% of my RAM. Logs. Ignore this machine. This machine is also always rebuilt from a snapshot that I took on January 21st. So it's, you know, anyway. Storage information. Don't know why we don't have any visibility there. Networking, don't have visibility. Account management, cool. Shows you the SSH keys. Services and service control. But then an instantaneous terminal. So, like, I have lots of machines and I know where they all are and I SSH to them, but having just a single portal, you can wire in multiple machines, and apparently that machine's doing nothing. You can wire in multiple machines and connect to them all from the same dashboard. And this is not like, go install WordPress, go install MySQL, go install PHPMyAdmin, and so on. But having visibility and access to machines, I think this is actually pretty neat. I really like the speed of the terminal. You can go and look at their documentation. They have like SSO and OAuth and all sorts of ways to control access to it and proxying SSH keys and doing a bunch of other things. Chicken? Is that a chicken? It's Peter Quiche decided that this deserved a chicken emoji. I don't know what both that is. But that's today's tool of the day, Cockpit. Yeah, I think it has a place in the world. You know, because no matter how nerdy we all are, at some point, the people who come behind us, they're not going to learn all the stuff we learned. They're not going to take the time. And we have to be prepared to give them safe environments in which they can do stuff. You ever read the original I Am Legend book? Not like there's the Will Smith movie and there's Omega Man and stuff like that. But if you read the original book, I'm sure I've talked about this on the show before. Like the whole world changes and he sees that the change, like they all became these blood-sucking vampire people. So he's going around killing them all in the night because he thinks that they're bad because they killed all of his friends. But then over the course of time, he ends up getting captured by them and he's being dragged into their community and he realizes that the world moved on and he didn't. And he is now the enemy and they kill him. And that's the end of the book. It's actually quite depressing. The world is changing. The world will always be changing. And as much as I may not like tools that make it easier for people to do things, at the end of the day, making it easier for people to do things is actually good. Do with that what you will. Let's get the heck out of here. Maybe Google will be working. Who knows? So that's it. That's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Links to everything I talk about on the show go up in the free community site at community.cncn.io after the show ends. Come join us. Community members get early access to the links, video replay, and other exclusive content. It's free to join and it's growing every single day. If you have something you'd like me to consider for the show, post it in the community site, mention me in the post, or ping me on Discord or Twitter. Or LinkedIn, as one of you has been doing all throughout the show. Have a great day, everyone. I'm seeing little pop-ups on my teleprompter, and I'm like, what? Have a great day, everyone. Keep learning, and I will see you in the next show. Stay caffeinated. And if Google stays down for the rest of the day, go for a walk.